Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30 and the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education meeting will come to order. We're going to start with a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance, and that will be held or done by Ms. Ava Davis.
Will everyone please pause for a moment of silence? And now will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. First, I want to say thanks to Mr. Stevens and the Mayfield family for hosting us tonight. I also want to take time to recognize Ms. Lynn Volz. She is the Executive Director of BCPEF. And then I will make a couple comments before we get started. As Chairman for the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education, I'm committed to running an orderly and efficient meeting, treating everyone with respect. Board members will be provided equal voice for all matters, and they should communicate through the Director of Schools for addressing staff. Couple reminders for parents and community. Board of Education policies can be found on the clevelandschools.org website. When there, just click the district, Board of Directors, and then select Board Policies. I mention that because our meetings are not public forums. However, the board has made accommodations for a city resident, Cleveland City Schools employee, or parent guardian of a Cleveland City Schools student to address the board. Here are the ways that you can address the board, which is also found in School Board Policy 1.404, which includes these two options. Appearing before the board via a pre-meeting request through the Director of Schools office, and then addressing the board on agenda items via same-day requests. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. All right, board members, you have received the consent agenda. Is there anything that you would like to take off the consent agenda for further discussion? I would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as provided.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And now we'll take the vote.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Carolyn?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes?
Krista?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
It passes.
Thank you. Next item on our regular agenda is the director's update, and I'm going to turn this part over to the interim director of schools, Mr. Kelly Kaiser. If you don't mind, let's just give him a great welcome.
All right, we've got a lot. I'm talking a lot today, so not just in the update, but in other areas. So I thought it would just be easier for me to come out here so I can see you while we're doing the update. First item, just went dark. First item is board. Did you remember your homework from the last meeting when I told you to come tell us why the pickle glowed yellow? I know the dog ate all your homework, right? All of you ate all your homework. Pickle glows yellow because it has sodium in it. So time for more experiments later. But see, I didn't forget, but I knew you didn't remember your homework. All right, you can go to the next slide. So just some organization updates. On April 3rd, I attended the Bradley Cleveland Public Education Foundation Executive Committee meeting. It was an enjoyable time. I appreciate them having me there. I also attended Cleveland City Council meetings on the 8th and the 22nd to ensure that we had representation there at those meetings. It was a good chance to be there and hear updates and know that our ideas about the city continuing to grow are being felt and heard in other areas of the city. I will lightly touch on the Cleveland High School pieces because I know we'll have an update later. but I was able to attend the Graduate of Distinction Banquet, which was tremendous. Great way to honor those students. Sarah Whitener was named the new Candies Creek principal on the 18th, so congratulations to her. Luke Felty, who is a junior at Cleveland High School, scored a perfect 36 on the ACT, which is tremendous and incredible. And a couple of people said, well, he only had a 35 before. And I thought, only a 35? Okay, only a 35. Attended Special Olympics at Cleveland Middle School on April the 20th. I want to say thank you to Mr. Akiona, Scott Carroll, and just that entire staff for hosting that event. It's a great event on Saturday. I got the chance to attend the Bradley Cleveland Public Ed Foundation Leadership Fellows Celebration Dinner and wish that group well. Tremendous job, and thank you to Lynn and to the Public Ed Foundation for kind of sponsoring that group and giving them a lot of great opportunities to meet people. And those that attended Gifts, Grants, and Gratitude got to hear how that program has developed and has become a part of growing leaders in our community. Got to attend the Southeast Corps Directors Meeting on April 26th and hear information from the Southeast Corps. Got to attend Cleveland High School Prom on the 27th. They kept me out way past my bedtime, but I did survive. Got to attend Senior Night, and you'll hear a little bit more about a special award that we gave out at Senior Night in a little bit. And then I got to attend Gifts, Grants, and Gratitude on the 3rd. And enjoy being a part of our community and all the things that are going on with the Public Ed Foundation. Next slide, please. So just some upcoming dates. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, all week, the 6th through the 10th. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but just put that on everybody's radar. It'll be going on all week. It's also Nurse Appreciation Week as well, so some people will get a little bit of a combination on that. We have the Board of Ed's Lunch and Learn at Yates Primary on the 9th at 11 o'clock. Art-O-Rama will be taking place at Cleveland High School on May 9th from 5 to 7. If you have not been to Art-O-Rama, it's really cool. We have some tremendously talented students in art at the high school. Cleveland High School graduation is coming up on the 10th at 6 o'clock in Raider Arena. A reminder that we have 2 stockpile PD days coming up on May 10th and May 17th. Students do not attend on those days as they are professional development days for teachers. I'll be attending the TOSS Legislative Update on May 14th in Knoxville. The Yates 30th anniversary celebration is coming up on May 16th. And then Cleveland City Schools will be hosting the Southeast Corps Directors of Schools meeting for all the directors of Southeast Corps on May 24th. The last day of school, I know it's hard to believe, but it is almost upon us, is coming up on May the 24th, and that is an abbreviated day for students. And then Memorial Day is May 27th, and the offices will be closed. All school offices will be closed on that day. So those are our upcoming dates. I want to touch a little bit on House Bill 1202 and Senate Bill 1325. There's been lots of discussion around this. If you've seen this as a headline, this is the Arming Teachers Bill, which is been a little bit misleading, so I thought we needed to address this as a school district. First, a few facts on the legislation itself. It is not just someone can decide that they want to carry a concealed weapon into school. There are lots of rules and parameters around that. The first of which is permission must be granted by the director of schools, and then a memorandum of understanding signed with the chief of the police department. For us, that would, of course, be Chief Gibson. Also, the principal of the building has to agree to allow that to occur. There are some strict background check rules that are in place. The individual must also have cleared a psychological check, a psychological exam in order to be able to carry. Must be done by a doctor that is able to do that. They must possess an enhanced carry permit and then complete additional law enforcement officer training requirements. So as you can see, it is a lot more than a teacher can just simply deciding one day that they want to go armed at school. That's not how this works. There would be severe consequences, obviously, if that were to be the case. So wanted to be really clear about the legislation. I think there has been a lot of misinformation that has gotten around about that. So that is just some facts on that piece. A few thoughts on it from my perspective. Cleveland City Schools, I think, still believes that specially trained school resource officers in each school building remain the best way to keep our students safe. At this time, we have no intention to even entertain discussion of arming anyone in schools other than school resource officers, so I'll make that very clear. Our view is teachers need to teach. It's what they're trained to do. If we get to the point where additional security is needed beyond what we currently have, then we'll seek trained professionals or additional school resource officers that can focus only on that area. So I wanted to make it very clear our position as there has been some misinformation about that bill. Next slide, please. I want to touch a little bit on some position breakdowns. I believe one of the roles of a director of schools is to make sure that accurate information is out there. I shared this at the board with a retreat, but I want to just give you a comparison of the distribution of roles in the state of Tennessee versus the distribution of roles in Cleveland City Schools. So percentage of teachers in the state of Tennessee for your average district is 78.4% teachers, 5% administrators, 2.8% counselors, 2.1% interventionists, 4.4% other educators, and then I believe it is 6% librarians. If you make that comparison to Cleveland City Schools, you can go to the next slide. Cleveland City Schools actually has a higher percentage of teachers. 82.6% of our staff is teachers, 4.7% is administrators, 3.2% counselors, so you can see we're a little higher in that area, 1.8% interventionists, 4.7% other support staff, and 1.8% librarians. So you can see Cleveland City Schools compares very favorably across the state in how we are distributing our positions and that we have a higher percentage of teachers than the state. Wanted to make that very clear. If you would, go to the next slide. So I wanted to just kind of give you a view of kind of one department in Cleveland City Schools because I think sometimes we don't understand all that goes into what departments are doing in the central office and in other areas across the district. So I chose the department I know the best, which is the Human Resources Department, and I'll talk about a couple of other departments as we go through this. Cleveland City Schools' current HR staff size is 2. That would be me and Ms. Adsit. Current staff size in Cleveland City Schools is around 817 people, not including substitutes and other people that kind of come through our world. Cleveland City Schools' ratio is 1 HR staff member for every 400 employees. Society of Human Resource Management research would tell you that the average HR staff size in the country is 1.7 for every 100 employees. If you look at our neighboring district, they have 5 people of a full-time equivalent of 4.5 people doing the work that we do. They are a little bit larger than us, so you have to take that into account. These counts are outside of business office personnel and all the other comparison locations. So these are truly human resources people. To give you an idea of what has changed, so we know things have changed in the schools, but they've also changed in other areas across the central office. We now do background checks for all employees every 5 years, which means an average of 160 background checks must be run simply just to stay in compliance with state law. That doesn't count extra requests, for example, like for field trips. It doesn't count substitutes, who we still have to background check. It doesn't count the impact of turnover. Completion of loan forgiveness, thanks to the Biden administration for that, has grown tremendously. We do multiple loan forgiveness forms every day. Those have to be signed off on. Those have to be gone through. The job market has created, obviously, some employee turnover in some positions. And some positions, particularly the assistant roles, we may hire them multiple times in 1 year. Teacher shortages have dramatically increased the work on permits, waivers, and other license issues that we deal with in the Human Resources Department. And the Tennessee Department of Education no longer answers teacher licensing questions from educators that are staffed in a school district. They push that back to us, so we answer those questions for our staff. Required investigations are on the rise in all areas, and then parental leave, as you know, it has added additional information that must be collected, gathered, and dealt with on a daily basis. I provide this information for two reasons. One, just a reminder that there are lots of folks in our school district. I could have done this for the business office, who you'll hear administers a budget that's well over $70 million in a year with 4 people. I could have done this for Student Information Services, whose work has grown by leaps and bounds with TISA and other areas. But I think it's important for the Director of Schools to remind us, as we grow, other things will have to grow. There are no really additional administrative positions or secretarial roles in the budget that we will present this evening. But it is a reminder that there are lots of folks that are working really hard behind the scenes that people may never see what they do. And with that in mind, since I do have the microphone right now, I'm going to take the opportunity, and she is not going to be very happy with me, but I'm doing it anyway. As I've taken on the role of interim director of schools, someone else has had to pick up a few more things in the HR world, so I'd ask Michelle Adsit, if you would, to come up here and join me. Just want to thank her for taking on a little extra during this period of time as we've gone through this transition. She works tirelessly all the time. If someone does your paperwork in the HR office, it is Ms. Adsit. It is not me. She is the person that checks the time for 800 plus employees every month and make sure that's accurate. So she's doing a lot of work. Just want to take a moment to publicly thank you while I had the microphone. Thank you. All right, Dr. Draper, you can roll on. Just want to say thank you to our teachers. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. You'll see that a lot, see us out a lot. I've been around with my top hat today to thank people around buildings with gift cards, people that are being very positive. Teachers are really important to me. Of the people in my life, that lady that you can see in that old picture is my grandmother. She taught in a one-room schoolhouse in a logging camp in Oklahoma. She is the reason that I am here today. She is the reason that my brothers graduated from college because she stressed education in our family. So when I think about appreciating teachers, I always think about her. And then that is my 3rd grade class that you see up there. Miss Gibbs was my teacher. I could name all of the teachers I've had throughout my educational career. Just reminds me of the impact that teachers truly have on our community and on each of us. You could probably all think of a special teacher. So thank you to our teaching staff for all you do in our community. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to our board. They were recently named a TSBA Board of Distinction again. Just want to say what a tremendous job that this board does. Thank you for your dedication, your professionalism. We've really tested your dedication in the past week as we've gone through Director of Schools interviews. So thank you for what you do for our community, and congratulations on your being named a Board of Distinction again. Some other great news. So Cleveland City Schools has recently been named a Capturing Kids' Hearts National Showcase District. It is the first district in the state of Tennessee to receive that honor. Also, we had National Showcase Schools, Arnold Memorial, Blythe Bower, Cleveland High School, Cleveland Middle School, and George R. Stewart, and then Mayfield, where we are tonight. We're all named Showcase Schools, but it's a tremendous honor. Cleveland City Schools is one of 40 in the United States to be named a showcase district. So congratulations to everyone that has worked really hard to make that possible. Raider Drive building, so just a quick update on it. Things are progressing really well. The sign is now hung out front, so if you drive by at night, you will be able to see that sign lit up. Looks very well. Things are on schedule and are progressing quickly there. So just a quick update on that. You can go to the next slide. Someone here was the Director of Schools Award winner at our recent senior night. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about her later, but wanted to say congratulations to Ava. She, in true Director of Schools, keep on keeping on fashion, she did not feel well, but she showed up to get her award anyway. So congratulations to you, Ava, well deserved.
Thank you.
Now to the fun stuff. So I'll let Ava talk about Senior Walk, but I'll talk about it from an educator perspective. This is probably the most fun event of the year for our teachers. Lots of tears, lots of smiles, and lots of remembering why they do what they do. So it was a great event on Friday, and I'll let Ava give the update for that from her side in a little bit. You can go to the next slide. Just want to give a shout out to our school, Cleveland City Schools Fine Arts Departments, Theater Department, Art Department. They're just doing tremendous things. Like I said, if you get a chance to go to Artorama tomorrow or this week, but also if you get a chance to go see the Descendants, I think they're still doing some shows this week at Cleveland Middle School. It was tremendous, probably the best middle school musical I have ever seen. You can see the cast there from 101 Dalmatians, the Ross musical, the play at Cleveland High School. There is just a lot of outstanding work being done across the district in that area. Sometimes we don't see them or don't hear about them enough. So they're just a lot of very talented students in Cleveland City Schools. A Friday in May. So if you want to never know, there's nothing that goes on in May. Started out Friday morning at 6 o'clock with a water line call to Hal Taylor, and we did not stop until probably about 8 o'clock on Friday. We had Annie at Stewart, which was a tremendous event. Then I go over and I find Mr. O'Connor in that top right-hand corner. I have no idea what he's doing there. Some kind of ab exercise at the Yates Career Fair. We had meteorologists in the gym. We had Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency there. Then we go over to the Public Ed Foundation and see our students from Candies Creek presenting along with other students from Cleveland High School. Then we pop over to Stewart, and really in all of our schools, we had the Senior Walk going on. And then I actually went home and sat down and I fell asleep after that. So then I woke up just in time to get to Cleveland High School and catch the last 4 innings of the softball game. So very busy time in May. It's a privilege to be able to be a part of those events. Next slide, please. Just a few pictures of me out and about, as you've heard me say, Director of Schools on the loose, Interim Director of Schools on the loose, from being at the petting zoo at Blythe Bower to the softball game to I have no idea what I was doing in the powdered wig down there. To lots of fun going on in Cleveland City Schools. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. To acting up with the kindergarten class. So if you ever want to know how good a supervisor I am as Director of Schools, I'll let Cody roll it to the next and play the video.
Chicken, let's say it, chicken.
This is what happens when you leave me supervising a kindergarten class. We started out talking about that how eggs are laid, and then before long we were all doing the chicken dance, me included. So kids are great. That's why we do what we do, and that concludes my report today.
Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. The next item on the agenda is teacher tenure, so we'll just continue on with Mr. Kaiser standing there.
I believe that the board has the list, and you may wish to vote before I introduce these individuals. May wish to vote on tenure.
So, board members, I want to entertain a motion for teacher tenure.
I'll make the motion.
We have a first, do we have a second? We have a second.
Motion
Now
to-
we'll move forward with the actual vote.
Apologies. Motion to accept the recommendation for teacher tenure. Krista?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes?
100% pass.
All right, so to be eligible for tenure, you have to have completed a probationary period of 5 years with Cleveland City Schools. And in the last 2 years of that probationary period, you had to have scored either a level 4 or a level 5 on your level of your overall level of effectiveness. So these individuals meet that criteria. And so Cody, you can go ahead and scroll to the next slide. If you are here, I will ask you to come up front and join me, and we'll probably want to get a picture of you. But let's begin with Miss Charlotte Hallman from Arnold Memorial Elementary School. Next is Miss April Salyer from Blythe Bower Elementary School. Next is Caleb Shelton from Candies Creek. Next is Karina Burgueño from Cleveland High School. Is she here? She is buying a car. Next is Mr. Jeremy Finch from Cleveland High School. I'd also like to add that he is quite the singer. I found that out at prom. Him and his wife's duet was quite the hit. Stacy Mills, Cleveland High School. Joel Swartzel, Cleveland High School. Jonathan Berger, Cleveland Middle School. Andrea Johnson, Cleveland Middle School. And Miss Heather Colston, who works district-wide for Cleveland City Schools. You want them in front of the board? How do you want?
They're going to take a picture of you.
They're not going to see you. Carolyn, do you want to come up front?
Don't let anybody take a tumble. They're going to come around.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Next on the agenda, we have a spotlight, and Mr. Kaiser will handle that as well.
I think Mr. Pritchard is going to come, and he is going to introduce Model UN and scope, and then give us an update on Cleveland High School.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't share everything with Kelly Kaiser, or I would have had nothing to talk about tonight. So he was all over my toes tonight. So Cleveland High School's got a lot of great things going on. We were just named #1 in the state by Max Preps for our athletics program, and 61st in the nation. Our spring sports have been very successful. We've got several district championships, and we are rolling into the postseason. Baseball is playing tonight. Softball is playing tonight. Our band also, according to the American Band Directors Association Award of Distinction, went to our CHS Symphonic Band for straight superior ratings at our concert festival. Special Olympics was a lot of fun. We got a lot of awards in that, even in the rain. At senior night, we had millions of dollars won in scholarship money. We don't know the exact number yet, but we know that it was up 8 million or more. So lots of money won there. Testing went well. State would like for us to have 95% participation, and right now, unofficially, the calculation that we come up with was about 98.3%, which is huge for us. So that's great to the testing team. We also have a really small event coming up this Friday. I don't know if y'all have heard about it. Graduation coming up. And with that, I would like to introduce these two lovely ladies over here. They're going to talk and have our students talk about the Model UN and Scope experience that we had. Miss Athena Davis and Julie Phillips.
Hello. So we took 4 students to Scope back the first week of March over in Nashville, and they represented us very well. In fact, Jackson's the one who's going to talk to you, and he came like this close to being elected from his group to be one of the debaters. So I'll let Jackson talk to you.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jackson Nazron. I was one of the juniors that had the honor of being selected to represent our school at Scope. It was a very fun event that we were able to do. We were all split up, so I didn't get to see many of my friends over here. But I was in group 6, and like she said, I was so close to getting elected to doing that. We had a mock school board meeting just like this, and we elected our own school board person, which I actually got. And the other person was very prepared, and she went up on stage, and she killed it, and she was elected president of the entire event. It's a very enriching experience to be part of. Sorry about that. I really enjoyed it. I think the topics that we discussed, such as 4-day weekends, having an internship as a prerequisite for graduation, AI, and use of homework are very prevalent to our society today, and kind of hearing perspectives from across the state really helps me think about it. It's something amazing, and I have to thank Ms. Davis so much for choosing me to go there.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you introduce the other?
Yes, this is Jack Sazerac, this is Olivia Compton, Braden Nichols, and Caroline Rodriguez.
Next, we have Julie Phillips.
Hello. Thank you so much for letting us come. We got the privilege to take 48 students to Washington, D.C. From March 20th to the 24th to the George Washington Model United Nations Conference. And so I'm going to invite them up. We obviously don't have all 48 here tonight because we have AP tests and baseball games and tennis and all this other stuff. So we're so glad that these students were able to come. And we took seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. We're actually going to have one of our freshmen speak to you tonight about her Model UN experience. Oh, there she is.
Thank you for having me. In Model UN, I learned lots of lessons like cooperation, teamwork, and how to work as a group to achieve a common goal. And this really showed me like how I can work with other people and realize what we need to do to achieve what we want. And it was very insightful and it was very fun overall. Just I had a great time learning about people's different opinions and experiences. And I loved enjoying like the moment and like how we can work together and create a solution to the problem that we had at hand. Thank you.
I'm Abby Anglin, I'm a senior. I'm Ellie Fagan, I'm a junior. I'm Shaylee Mystery, I'm a senior. I'm Leah Hammond, and I'm a junior. I'm Grayson Johnson, I'm a senior.
I'm Colby Atkinson, I'm a freshman.
I'm Sarah Clifford, and I'm a senior. I'm Anna Pritchard, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Lauren Williams, and I'm a senior.
I'm Mila Keith, and I'm a junior.
I'm
Evan Bonilla, and I'm a junior.
I'm Mario Ulloa, and I'm a junior.
I'm Maddie Jackson, I'm a senior.
I'm Reagan McKinley, I'm a junior.
I'm Lila Dunn, I'm a freshman.
So, yeah.
I'm Ava Davis, I'm a senior.
So, yeah, so we want to thank you again for allowing us to go on this trip every year. We unfortunately missed 3 days of school, but I think you can tell that we learn a lot of lessons while we're up there. We get to have a little bit of fun. We got to sightsee, and it just was a very memorable experience. So we thank you for letting us go again, and we hope you let us go next year.
Board members, do you have any questions for either the scope or the Model UN student groups? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is the 2024-2025 budget presentation.
We'll let everybody run while they have a chance here before we get into the budget. All right, Dr. Epper, you can go to the next slide. Just a reminder that we operate out of 4 separate budgets: general purpose budget, federal programs, food service budget that is also a part of this, and then our capital projects budget. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, Dr. Epper. Cleveland City Schools is funded through local taxes, state funds, the city general fund transfer, and then federal funds. You can see, and you have a copy of, I believe, this slide in your packet, and kind of the breakdown there with the majority of our funds coming from the state of Tennessee. Go ahead, Director. These are the projected increases over the previous fiscal year. Cindy, do you want to add anything to this slide? I think you've talked to the board a couple of times about this at this point in time. So there's nothing really new there from what we've previously discussed with the general fund. Dr. Epper, you can go to the next slide. So currently, we are operating as we do every year. This is not anything new on an estimate. We will have better numbers as we get closer to the summer. Our final estimate, we have been working through some challenges with getting ILPs in. I'd like to give a special thank you to our ESL department. They really have kind of gone above and beyond to make sure all those are in, and that we make sure we secure funding for each of our students that have to have individual learning plans processed through the state's new process that has come along with TISA. So we'll be in better shape, even better shape as we move into the summer, but we feel good about the estimate we have now. Next slide, please. So this is how the budget is created. Review our data, our strategic plan. We have several meetings with our department staff and leadership. We talk to our principals. We have meetings, Dr. Elliott and I sit in meetings with our certified staff and non-certified staff advisory council, and then we get some input from the Family Advisory Council at certain points in the process. The proposed budget is discussed. I think we're now on time 2 with the board. We had a work session where we discussed this. It's reviewed and then has to be approved by you. Then from there it goes to City Council, and they have to approve the entire budget. They do not have line item veto authority, so they have to approve the entire budget. Next slide, please. This is just an example of where we fell in the state of Tennessee last year with salary rankings, just for informational purposes, and just for kind of our preparations as we think about where we are moving forward. We are in the top 10 at our minimum ranking, and then you can kind of see where we fall from there in our other steps. Next slide, please. So budget priorities this year. So the first priority was, of course, to provide our salary steps that we provide every year in our salary scales. But in addition to that, 5% raise for all of our full-time staff. That's a little misleading. It also includes the majority of our part-time staff, almost all positions except for a couple that are kind of at a set hourly rate. The second priority was classroom growth positions. We have several positions that we are in need of to meet growth across our district. Primarily, those are in the elementary schools. Our ESL growth continues to be occur at a very high rate. So we have several ESL growth positions that will be needed to meet those needs. If you remember, we added 6 last year. We're projecting to add 6 again this year. And then some prioritized school-requested and ESSER-funded positions. As you are aware, this is the final year of ESSER. And then we had about a little over $1 million in ESSER salaries. So we prioritized retaining several of those positions. Any questions about that? Next slide, please. So these are the positions that we're proposing to add. 6 ESL teachers to meet growth needs. Those will be dispersed across the district depending on student numbers. Ms. Christy Duncan, ESL supervisor, does a great job with that. So we know that some of those will be at the secondary level. Several of those need to be at the secondary level, but we'll have to take a look at that and what services we need to provide for those students. Next, we're projecting 5 elementary teacher positions, and there's a slide in a little bit. We'll talk about where those are projected to go. 3 special education positions, to meet growth needs. Those are at Stewart, ERC position, at Candies Creek, an interventionist position, and then a speech position for the district. Then a half position at each school, so a half position at Ross and at Yates to pick up needs for an RTI coordinator. There's a lot of growth in the needs for those positions, particularly at Ross, where we're dealing with 3rd grade retention and all the paperwork and the pieces that go along with that. So for a total of 15 new certified positions. And then we would be retaining a secondary supervisor, district translation specialist, crisis intervention counselor, learning acceleration specialist, elementary computer tech, CMS data operator, a social worker position, and then our substitute staffing service. Previously, all of those positions or services were paid for through ESSER, which, again, as I said earlier, is going away at the end of this year. Any questions about those positions before we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. So just some budget facts that I thought was important for us to provide. 81.96% of our total budget is in salaries and benefits. Obviously, this is a people business, and we want to prioritize our people. That is why you saw earlier the 5% increase that we are asking for. We want to avoid turnover of staff as much as we possibly can and make Cleveland City Schools the best place to work, and that includes salaries. Because if you deal with turnover, you're retraining, you're starting over in positions. We just don't want to be a school district that is doing that. Of that budget that goes to salaries and benefits, 79.15% of that is in school sites or in school services, salaries and benefits. So what I mean by that is either teachers that are in buildings, staff that is in buildings, or it would be services like speech that might be district-centered but goes to the building to provide services, or individuals that might be working in behavior programs that work throughout the district. So vast majority of that is school-based. 2.81% of the total budget is in the district administrative salaries. I know that's often a discussion point in the community, so I thought that was a good fact to bring out. And then if we adopt the budget as we've proposed it, we will have added 67 new positions over the past 3 years. And only one, communications, has been in the administrative office. This means, and kudos to the board for doing this, the remaining 66 are either in schools or providing direct services in schools like speech, behavior support, and in other areas. Next slide, please. This is just kind of a breakdown, kind of across the board where these positions would be. So academics would be retaining 2 positions that are already working in that department, secondary supervisor and learning acceleration specialist. Student services would be retaining a district interpreter, crisis intervention, and social worker. ESL will be really getting 6 ESL teachers, but those will be distributed throughout the school district. Human resources would be retaining the staff EZ, which is our substitute staffing group. Innovation would be retaining their elementary computer tech. Special education would be gaining a speech pathologist and 2 new teachers, as you heard me talk about those. Those would be staffed at Stewart and at Candies Creek due to growth. District was probably going to hold one of those teaching positions and make sure that we need it at Ross, but it looks like right now Ross is a standalone 3rd grade class, standalone with their state number, so there's probably going to be a need for another 3rd grade teacher at Ross. Transportation, we are looking at taking our part-time bus drivers to $28 per hour. That is needed. As you know, it's difficult to find bus drivers, and this will put us at the top of the Southeast region for bus driver pay. Arnold Elementary will be getting a classroom teacher. Blythe Bower will be getting a classroom teacher and an RTI assistant to assist with the needs there. RTI at Blythe Bower is the largest in the district, so that RTI facilitator needs a little additional assistance. Candies Creek would be adding a classroom teacher and a special education teacher. Cleveland High School would be benefiting from reduced load for speech-language pathology, and then we are adding a stipend for the athletic director at that school. If you are out and about at Cleveland High School on any given night, the athletic director is there working. He has been just on an 11-month position, so we believe that that stipend is well-deserved for him. Cleveland Middle School would be retaining their data operator position. Mayfield would be adding a classroom teacher. Stewart would be adding an ERC teacher, and then Ross and Yates would be adding a halftime RTI coordinator position at each of those buildings. And then likely what they will do is they will add to their halftime making a full-time instructional facilitator position out of their Title I budgets. So that's kind of the distribution across the district. Next slide, please. So one of the recommendations that is in this budget and that I asked for specific board input was around athletic training. We are currently provided basically you could say a athletic trainer by Benchmark. They provide us up to $50,000 in salary and then pay for all the benefits of that athletic trainer. We're really at the point where we would like that to be a more competitive position. So I'm asking the board in this budget to supplement that pay for Benchmark at $10,000 to increase the salary that they're able to provide to $60,000. It would only be $10,000 that comes from the district. But we would also match that amount at Cleveland Middle School. We're still working on the potential provider and how we would do that at the middle school, but I think it's only fair that we do for the middle school what we're doing at the high school. I look at this like buying insurance. It's just a smart thing to do. If you're at any of our athletic events, and it's just really important for us to have a certified trainer there and able to provide care if there is a student that is injured or is even there available during the week to provide treatment for any athletic injuries. So, like I said, Benchmark provides that. This is just kind of a supplement to the salary to allow us to attract a more permanent person. There's been a lot of turnover in that spot. So I think that's important to do. Next slide, please. This is just kind of a summary of the expenditures. You have this in your budget packet. Kind of breaks down each area and how that plays out in the budget. Next slide, please. This is again a breakdown of how the budget is distributed. You can see the 81.96% that I referenced earlier, which is tied to salaries and benefits. $200 per teacher is required by TISA. It used to be BEP, it's now TISA. You can see how the utilities and janitorial breaks out, liability, property insurance, debt service, and then textbook supplies and maintenance transportation budget. Next slide, please. Any questions on that, kind of that piece of it? Because I will end kind of with the general fund budget of $66,945,498 in revenues. It's a balanced budget with expenditures there. You can also see the child nutrition revenues and expenditures there. And Cindy is here, so if you really want to have your real questions answered, she is available to do that. But we'll entertain questions at this point in time from the board.
Mr. Kaiser, if you don't mind, before we get into detailed questions, can you just give a brief overview of how we come up with this budget at a high level, please? Just the process.
Yeah, so, well, I will let you. You want to answer that? You're the expert. I'm just the guy that's up here talking.
So I build the budget going into the next fiscal year by using the amendment that I make for the current fiscal year. I then start with our salaries. I have a salaries workbook spreadsheet that everybody always makes fun of me for my Bible, is what they call it. So I use that every year to make sure I have all our positions in within that spreadsheet. I can roll everyone up to their step and find out that amount, and then I can also find out what 1% increase would be for system-wide for a salary increase. And then I try to go back to a zero-based budget and look through the allocations at each school. We figure those allocations, send those out to the principals, they send those back in. That's part of building the budget. I use debt service, go back, make sure we have all our bond and principal and interest payments recorded for the next fiscal year. I look to maintenance and transportation to see if there's anything in particular that needs to be increased there to try out that, help that budget. We did that this year. Housing, a large increase in his equipment and his materials that he has to purchase. We also increased utilities. That was in an amendment, so that carried forward into this year. But then once I build all that, then I start looking at our revenues. The city general fund transfer has to stay the same. They cannot reduce it, so I always know that that amount's the same. I look at the trends for our revenues for property tax, sales tax, mixed drink tax, and then of course we did the TISA estimate. So that's how all that kind of comes together in one big giant puzzle. So also taking into consideration the requests of schools for additional personnel and equipment if they need it as well.
Thank you.
I told you, she's the expert. Board, any questions for myself or for Cindy?
Comment if I can. I just appreciate all the work that was put into this, and you guys getting this to us last week was very helpful to be able to dig through it and then have that discussion. So I appreciate all you've done, and both of you. I learned one time never question someone else's spreadsheet because I never can figure it out. And so having you guys available during that time was great.
Yeah, and we know not to touch Cindy's book, and if you borrow her book, you bring it back. Okay. That's our presentation.
All right, Mr. Kaiser, are you presenting this as a recommendation?
This is a recommendation for fiscal year 2024-2025 budget, and we would need to vote on it.
All right, board members, we have a recommendation for the 2024-2025 budget proposed here today, and I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve the budget as presented.
Is there a second? Second. So we have a motion, we have a second, and now it's time to vote.
There's a recommendation to approve the motion to adopt the budget of 24-25. Matthew?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Krista?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes?
Andy?
Yes.
It passes 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you. I become your next item. All right, so just going to give an update on the Director of Schools search. So last week, we completed the final round, or the board completed their final round of candidate interviews, the 3 finalists. We had a good week of 3 days of interviews. We brought the candidates in, and they met with district staff, they met with principals, assistant principals, they met with community members. Then, of course, they came back to Mayfield and did the evening interviews, and we got input from the audience members at that point in time. So that takes us to tomorrow. So the plan for moving forward from this point is tomorrow we will have a work session of the board at 3 o'clock. Then at 5:30 tomorrow evening, we will have a special call board meeting, at which time, at the administrative office building, at which time the board will vote and make a selection of the next director of Cleveland City Schools. So that is, our next steps will take place tomorrow in the Director of Schools search. So that is the update for that.
Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. Next item on the agenda is the first reading of policies. Then we're going to turn to Jody Riggins for that.
All right, we just have some changes to make, nothing, well, you've probably read them, but anyway. 6.400, promoting student welfare, there was some wording that the teacher would be the key person in the counseling program, and if you look at the procedure handbook, it's, of course, counselors are to be the key person, and so we're changing the statement that the teachers will inform the counselors, and counselors then, of course, would be the resource for the teachers. So it's a simple change in wording. Are there any questions or concerns about that? Okay. The next one is 6.4081. This is a recommendation. The change is an update per TSBA recommendations as it relates to legislative changes regarding safe relocation of students. Are there any questions or concerns regarding that one? Okay. 6.505, this is about transportation for students in foster care. And all we did in that one is add by director of schools designate, so that because the director would need someone in transportation, or I think Doug Moore possibly, to develop this procedure. And if you look in the procedure manual, it says director/designate. So we're just matching those together. Any questions there? Okay. 6.602, very similar. This has to do with correction procedures for students. And it's the same thing to match the procedure manual. We're putting designee alongside director. And the last one, 6.702, this one is, this is by TSBA recommendation that we just delete this because policy 4.300 on extracurricular activities covers this, so we're not duplicating policy. Any questions on that one or concerns? Thank you.
All right, board, we have first reading of policies where we've made changes to policy 6.400, 6.4081, 6.505, and then 6.602, with also a striking of policy, removal of policy 6.702. I'd like to entertain a motion for accepting the first reading of policy as stated. We have a first. We have a second.
Who first?
Matthew Coleman.
I'll second.
All right. We have a first, we have a second for first reading of policies, and I won't list those policies again, but the policies that were listed previously. And now we'll take the vote.
Motion to approve first reading of policies. Peggy?
Yes.
Krista?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes?
Andy?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
It passes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is strategic plan focus.
Hey, good evening. I have just a few updates from school nutrition for you. So our first action step was to continue to provide an efficient and effective nutrition program to support the student success in and out of the classroom. So you can see the numbers there. The breakfast and lunches are through about mid-April, and the supper numbers are through March. So we have continued to provide quite a few meals at no cost to all students. And then we've continued to provide our after-school meals, the supper meals, to any student that's staying after school. We've done meals for the kids at the middle school with the late bus. We also provide with the YMCA and the tutoring program. And then we also have our fresh fruit and veggie program that has continued. This was the first year we did all 7 elementary schools. In previous years, we just had 3. But we were able to get all the rest of the elementary. It's a program only for elementary schools, so we were able to get the rest of them on that program. And then this year, I'll be reapplying for the community eligibility provision, which continues to provide all meals at no cost to all students. So we're excited about that. And that will be for 4 more years. And then our next action step was for surveys. So we did send out the faculty and staff survey and got some great feedback on that. So we put some questions on there. It was very short. Questions: how often do you purchase food in the cafeteria? Something we don't have that you would like to see that maybe we've had in the past, or you know that other schools have that you would like to see here. And then what is something that we've offered in the past that we'd like to see again? And so we got some great feedback from that. Next slide, please. We got lots of feedback from that, and we learned that we really need to do a better job of communicating what we can and can't provide. The USDA, we have to go by every guideline that they give us. And so, and of course pricing because we're self-funded. But one thing that we saw multiple times was that certain staff members would want to purchase something in the cafeteria, but they didn't have a credit card, or they didn't have cash, and then we don't take credit cards. But we just need to communicate that all they have to do is call our office and set up an account, and they can purchase something in the cafeteria, and that's an easy fix. So we're working through the best way to communicate that to our faculty and staff, and so we plan to promote that next school year. And so the next part of the strategic plan for us is continuing with student interaction and participation. And so you can see in one of these pictures up top, the Easter Bunny came to Arnold Elementary, so that was a big hit. And those 2 bottom pictures are actually from National School Breakfast Week, which we had in March. And the left picture is from Arnold Elementary, and they served Hawaiian sliders, which was just a little breakfast sandwich that she came up with. And then the picture on the right was a tropical smoothie that was actually made with equipment from the Dairy Alliance grant we got last year. So, and that was a huge hit, and that was here at Mayfield. So our managers continue to promote things like that and try new products to get more kids interested in eating with us. And so National School Breakfast Week was the first week in March, and our theme was Surfs Up with School Breakfast. And so our managers went all out with their decorations. If you weren't able to get to some of those cafeterias, you missed out on that. So hopefully you're following us on social media and you saw those pictures. But Stuart is the top picture on the left. She brought in a paddleboard, and then you had Blythe Bauer, the next picture, and they always get into whatever it is. Blythe Bauer, they are on it. They are decorated, they are dressed up, everything. And so, and then the bottom picture is Arnold. So they do a lot, and the kids love getting their pictures made, and they love having those pictures posted. So they're going to continue to do those things as well. Some equipment updates. Last time I spoke, I talked about the USDA equipment grant, and then we did get that serving line installed at Stewart Elementary. So that is up and working well, and it's all pretty and shiny and new, and they love it. So we also got our new oven and serving line installed at Ross through some ESSER funds, so we appreciate the district working with us on that. New oven at Yates Primary up and working great, and also appreciate district funds for that. And then we got new oven, serving line, and steamer installed at Arnold. So again, the district helped us out with that, and Hal and his staff were great, and so we appreciate all the help that we've gotten with that. And then the next grant that I applied for is just a small grant, but it's Cleveland Middle School does breakfast in the classroom, and so they have to use these special kind of bags to carry that breakfast to the classroom. The ones they have just look pretty rough. So I've applied for a grant to help out to get them some more breakfast bags for that. And so, again, if you're not following us on social media, please do, because today I posted an update about one of our ladies at Ross Elementary is retiring this year after 40 years with us. Miss Nancy Martin is retiring, and she has spent her entire 40 years at Ross Elementary. So we are so thankful for her, and we love to promote our people on social media, so please follow us if you haven't. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have student representatives update. And so we're going to turn to Ms. Ava Davis. And Ava, if you don't mind, when you get done with your update, if you can just tell us where you're headed next since you are graduating.
Yes, sir. I'm actually going to go up there just because I like to see all your pretty faces whenever I give my update. And our setup's just a little different today than it normally is. All right, so this is going to be one of my longer updates. I'm so sorry. I know that you guys are here for a long time already, but here we go. So this week, very busy week at Cleveland. Seniors finished up our classes. Last week we had our final exams, thank goodness. And then on Friday, we did our senior walks through the elementary schools and the middle school. And that, I know that everybody was like, our seniors always love this. This is the greatest hit. And I was kind of like, okay, all right, whatever you guys say. But no, it was the highlight of senior year. Seeing all the little kids' faces whenever you walk through the halls and then them just being so excited for you, it's amazing. Because I remember being at Stewart Elementary and then at Cleveland Middle School and then walking through the halls, and I was like idolizing these people. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. Like, but that's so far away. I don't have to worry about that. Nope, it's here. So I did have to worry about it. So I was at Stewart for elementary school, and do you guys know that circle, like, I don't know if it's like a mat, it's like a sheet, and it's got all the different colors on it, and the parachute. I think every high school needs to have the parachute, and it needs to be implemented in every gym class because it is so fun, and it makes you feel like a kid again. And one thing I've learned this year is that senior year, there's a lot of exciting things because we're all really excited to grow up and move on and do whatever we're gonna do. But there's also a big mourning of your youth because it's finally set in, oh, I have to be an adult now. I can't act like a kid. So that's one thing that it was just fun to be able to let go for a second and not think about college and everything ahead and just be under the parachute where you were whenever you were a kindergartner. Which leads me to a recommendation that I have for y'all besides implementing the parachute at every high school. I think for the seniors, we should do fun little events. Like, whenever you were little and you had like your Thanksgiving lunch with like your parents and you made the little hats, and it was just fun. I think that we should do that for the seniors. I think there should be a Polar Express Day. Just those fun things that you did whenever you were little and you didn't really appreciate then because you were just a kid. You didn't really know. But moving on from that sentimental stuff. Color Guard has been having their tryouts this week. A lot of other sports have as well. I know the dance team had their tryouts as well as the cheer team. And then for this week, so today started AP exams, so that'll be going on for the rest of the week. And then, okay, today's Monday. Tuesday, nothing's going on. Wednesday is the senior party, which is very exciting. That's hosted by SGA. That's led by Miss Maggie Burns, which is so exciting. The seniors love it. Thursday is graduation practice, and then right after that is the Artorama, which I know that a lot of you guys have been to, and it is so fun. And it's just amazing to see the art that comes out of Cleveland High School. In the capstone class that I'm in, we had a girl do her presentation on her art portfolio, because that's what she had been working on through the entire semester. The talent that my peers have is amazing. I can hardly draw a straight line, but they are making these incredible masterpieces that I personally feel like should be in museums everywhere, but I guess the art world doesn't see it the same way. Graduation practice. And then we've got, and for the next couple of weeks, the inclement weather days that you guys approved for people to have the day off, which is nice. I know our underclassmen are very appreciative of that. And then we've got the 8th grade visits on May 16th. And then on May 23rd, we have the underclassmen award ceremony. And then we have this entire week, like you guys have said, the Teacher and Nurse Appreciation Week. Sorry, I was looking at my phone and I was like, Kaiser's shoes. So, Kelly Kaiser was passing around shoes for our graduation day, because do what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And he was having us sign them for him running around the schools all the time, and I just thought that was really cool. So I wanted to note it in my thing.
Yeah. So I'll explain. So I have a pair of white Nike Dunk shoes, and we're going to try to get every graduating senior to sign them, and I'm going to wear them at graduation, and then we will never wear them again, and they will go in a special place in my office. So that's what we're going to be working on senior party night, is to get everybody to sign. So that's what's going on with the shoes.
Well, I think that was a great idea. I love it. And that's really all. I just wanted to say thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to be with you guys every month. Whenever I signed up for this position, I wasn't really sure what I was signing up for, and then I was chosen by our administrators, and I've really loved this experience. It's been very influential in my life. And Comp 1, I actually wrote a paper based on my time here, so that was really nice. And as Nate Tucker asked me, I'll give you a little preview of what's coming up for me. So I have committed to attend the University of Tennessee, Knoxville for the next 4 years, which is very exciting. Go Vols. There, I'm planning on studying political science with a pre-law track. I'm very passionate about that. I hope to go to law school somewhere. I'm not sure where yet, wherever the Lord takes me, I guess. And that's really it.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. If you would
Thank
just
you.
stay there for a second. And so I just wanted to take the time to personally say thank you for the work you've done here on the board. You've done a fantastic job. It's never been a dull moment, and we really appreciate you sharing about your high school experience here at Cleveland High School. And we're excited to see where you're headed and look forward to hearing back from you of the great things you're going to do. Board, do you have any other comments you want to share with Ms. Davis?
It was very nice sitting next to you, and thank you for, you paid attention to a lot of the groups in the high school, and I enjoyed that. I appreciate that. Thank you for your suggestions.
I just want to say it's always fun listening to you and hearing about everything that's going on. You've done a great job keeping us in touch with what's happening out in the schools. And we love your smile.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say I really appreciate the passion that you bring. You're always so excited about everything, and you bring so much energy to this group, and you're going to be really missed.
I'll echo that, but you've just set a great example, and you exemplify what Cleveland High School and Cleveland City Schools provides, both in here and outside of here. When I've seen you out and about in the city, you've got the same great example. Thank you.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed your updates. I remember the first meeting was when we were having to update a lot of policies, and it took a long time, and it was like, were they all like this? So yeah, I've just really enjoyed hearing how your updates from the high school.
Thank you for your enthusiasm and your smile, and just, you're going to be a real success in the law field. Thank you.
I'd like to say one more thing. Go Vols.
And then one final thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention earlier is, we definitely invite our student representative to provide input, and you didn't shy away from that, and we appreciate that. So thank you again. So we do have a little gift for you. We have a certificate of appreciation, but then we also have a pendant, Cleveland City Schools pendant, and then probably the most effective and beneficial would be a little check. So it's only $1, so congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Final board picture.
All right, next on the agenda is facilities update.
There's no updates this time.
No updates at this time. Next on the agenda is the legislative update.
The only thing is, those of you who might be interested in what happened to the voucher program that seemed to be going strong at one time, but it never got out of committee, and so the legislators left Nashville with nothing being done. But let me tell you, it will rear its ugly head again next year, so just get ready.
Okay. Thank you. So that concludes our meeting, and it is 6:48. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we'll just take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and it is 6:48, and the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education now be adjourned.